when stepping back feels like walking away, you have to remind yourself, again and again, that true compassion builds what lasts. Most important of all, treat others how you would want to be treated. So here I am, saying it out loud, because I need to hear it more than anyone else. It's not wise to hold up what needs to fall. It's not wise to pretend. It's not wise to be used as part of someone else's cover story. Every day, it seems, it's either suffering or protest. Cries from so many, hurting, needing help. Patients crying for service. Facilities pleading for supplies, for medication. And they reach out to the institution that for the past 20 years has stepped in, again and again, with solutions. These past few days, I've struggled to know what to write. Honestly, I wasn't even sure I wanted to write anything, because most of what I was doing this week wasn't writing. It was self-talking. A lot of it. Trying to sort through the ache of watching so much deep suffering, and knowing, deep down in my soul, that solutions are fully within reach. And yet, the very decisions that would allow people to thrive keep getting avoided. You've seen it, over and over. People searching for solutions where there are none, while pretending the real ones don't exist. And in the meantime, people suffer. Children grow up without parents, completely unnecessarily. Elderly parents bury their children, again, unnecessarily. And families are torn apart by something so heartbreakingly unjust. And because God created us to ease human suffering, it brings a heart pain that words can't even describe. Because you know, it didn't have to be this way. Since I was 8 years old, I've known this calling. The first 20 years were for preparing and learning. And then, the past 20 years have been walking out the call, answering the cries of the suffering. But what breaks you isn't the suffering itself. It's watching those who bring solutions get blamed for the collapse they've worked so hard to prevent. Because somehow, there's a kind of acceptable corruption, the kind that feeds the powerful few while making the weak pay the price. And then, there's imaginary corruption that they invent, just to discredit anyone who threatens their control. We all watched it unfold in March of 2025, when paid newspaper articles were weaponized, not to expose wrongdoing, but to silence those getting too close to the truth. Articles funded by the very people who had the most to lose, if real accountability ever took hold. That betrayal, we're still waiting to see what happens. And when you try to help, they'll use your compassion against you, let you carry the burden, take the blame, hide your inputs, patch the cracks, just enough for them to protect a broken system, just a little bit longer. But here's what I'm learning. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is step back. Not because you don't care, but because you care too much. To let life-saving work become part of someone else's cover story. Because you're not the problem. You're just inconvenient to those who profit from the problem. But then comes the part I don't like admitting. Wanting so badly to help, only to realize solutions aren't actually the goal. Sometimes they're not looking for answers. They're looking for cover. They're looking for someone else to carry the cost, while they keep benefiting from failure. And when you fill the gap, it feels like the right thing to do. But over time, you realize, by helping too much, you've become part of the problem. Your compassion keeps the system alive just a little bit longer. And yet, it still feels wrong to let things fail. Because the most dangerous lie of all is that nothing better is possible. So here I am, saying it out loud, because I need to hear it more than anyone else. It's not wise to hold up what needs to fall. It's not wise to pretend. It's not wise to be used as part of someone else's cover story. We are here for the long game, to build what lasts, to wait for something better to rise. And after 20 years of saying yes to every cry of human suffering, finding solutions that most said were impossible, retraining the heart, the mind, and the soul is definitely a process. Because when stepping back feels like walking away, you have to remind yourself again and again that true compassion builds what lasts, not what covers. And in the middle of all this, I was asked to step onto a platform, not to defend myself, but to speak for what's still possible. The podcast title, Supply Lifeline, Innovation, Crisis, and the Future of African Healthcare. The title sounded complex, but the questions, they weren't hard at all, because the answers are very simple. In fact, they're painfully simple. Very basic principles: integrity, transparency, controls, accountability, ownership, and maybe most important of all, treat others how you would want to be treated. That's all it would take for us to move from surviving to thriving. Our days of being victims must come to an end, not because someone else saves us, but because we choose to save ourselves. The truth is, the solutions are right at our fingertips. We don't need more ideas. We don't need more benchmarking. What we really need is more courage. The real question is, will we be the ones brave enough to do what needs to be done, even if it means personal sacrifice, even if it means a new way of doing business? Here's what is sure. We can rise to the moment by calling, or be forced to face it by accountability. Either way, there is no other path forward. The only question is, when will we stop avoiding what is already the only way forward? I'm still watching, still waiting, still hoping. Maybe you are too.